Welcome to Nameless Debate Radio, where radioactivity is contagious. You can join us in broadening our minds on the Nameless Debates Discord via the link below, and even feature here yourself, if you've got what it takes.
Anyways, I just realized, we were talking about roles earlier, right?
Correct.
I do think an agnostic would be a more fitting role than atheist for me.
How so?
Because after looking up the definitions, the agnostic does not have a definition that contradicts mine.
Yeah, but most atheists are agnostic.
Yes, but that's also like saying most, not all religious people are.
No,
Theists.
It's not like that. There's a specific other word for atheists that aren't agnostic. And atheism doesn't mean not agnostic in any way. Atheist just means that you don't believe that it's likely that there's a God.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which does describe you.
But okay, so I don't disbelieve, I lack belief.
No, but that's the same thing.
Really?
Like saying you lack belief is saying that you don't believe the positive claim they make. You're not saying that you believe the negative claim. You are saying you don't believe the positive claim.
Let's see this disbelief. I'm sorry, I'm looking up a lot of words today. The inability or refusal to accept that something is true or real. That's disbelief.
Mm-hmm.
Alright, so
you don't accept that God is true, right? God in the sense that they mean it.
I don't accept that assertion to be true.
Correct. So you disbelieve it.
How can I say
You can say it's simple. I said it before. You don't make the negative claim, but you do not accept the positive one.
Yes, and I think agnostic is a safer word for that.
I don't agree. That's atheism. Like agnostic applies as well, but it's atheism. Like the negative claim is an anti-theist claim. Saying I do not accept the positive claim, that is an atheist position. Saying I'm not certain is an agnostic position. If you say both, I don't accept the positive claim, but I'm not certain, you are an agnostic atheist.
But my opinion is fundamentally that those beliefs originated as very atheist-like, right? And my opinion is that because the originals were very atheist-like, and we call those theistic religions, I think that's where the misconception arises. Like, I think the stereotypes that are associated with being atheist, and I don't, like I said, the same reason why I don't choose theist is why I don't go atheist.
No, I think the connotation you're attaching to atheist doesn't belong to it.
So I'm going to look up the definition of theist and see if that suits me before I go through that. So, the theism is broadly defined as the belief in the existence of the supreme being or deities, and I'm noting that they say belief, right? So, the belief in the existence of supreme being or deities. So that means you don't necessarily think it's true, but you believe it.
No, belief is thinking that something is true.
I'm going to be looking up a lot of words today. An acceptance that a statement is true, there is something that exists. Okay, that's problematic. But then there's the other one: trust, faith, or confidence in someone or something. That has to do with truth. That is true. So I'm not theist for sure, but I don't know. Like that's the same reason why we don't use the word God, right?
Yes, correct.
There's like a proper definition that we do it, that I accept, but then there's the improper definition, and where a lot of people do use it in that fashion, and that's why I avoid using the word God. I should avoid using the word God.
Mm-hmm. So then you're saying what the proper definition of atheism you accept, and you would describe yourself as that, but that the way
Yeah.
that you think most people use it is something you don't accept.
Yes.
Yeah, that's fair enough, but I personally don't agree with you that most people use it that way.
I'm very sure most people use it in the manner that it's anti-theist.
I don't think so. If that were the case, there wouldn't be a separate word for anti-theism.
Yeah, no, so that's the same reason why I think like when there are definitely other words for God, right?
Yeah, but the other words for God differ in meaning. That's exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying the reason that anti-theism as a word exists is because it is different in meaning from atheist.
Yes, and that's like, so when we say God and deity, right? They're two different words, right?
Hmm. Yeah, but they mean God is a type of deity. It's the one deity.
Oh, but then like God can be made plural.
Yeah, you can have gods, of course, but that's a different word. Then you're referring, like, gods refers to deities. God refers to the one deity.
That I would think that would be the God is the deity.
Yeah, but God is implying the God. The singular use of God implies the.
I didn't know that. That's interesting. Do they conflict? I'm wondering. They're synonymous.
Mhm.
Atheist and agnostic are synonymous, though.
Yes, I said that. Like all reasonable atheists are agnostics. I'm an agnostic. I've never met an atheist who could explain to me their atheism coherently who wasn't agnostic.
Hmm.
Agnosticism is just admitting that you're not certain. That's the whole point of atheism.
So that's like, so if I go agnostic, then I'm definitely like by definition I'm atheist, right?
um, you can. Yeah, well, I think so. Yes.
A person who disbelieves or lacks belief in the existence of God or gods.
Agnosticism isn't restricted to religion, though. So if you're agnostic when it comes to religion, then you could either be saying that you're an atheist, or you could be saying that you don't take any position.
So like, can you imagine somebody being an atheist and Buddhist?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so if that be the case, then it's fine. But the thing is, do you think most people can even imagine that?
Yeah, Buddhism it doesn't believe in gods.
Yeah, but like, can you imagine somebody the complications that come with that? Like although it's correct rationally, right? Like most people won't even understand what that means. You're religious and you're atheist. How does that make sense?
No, but Buddhism isn't really a religion.
Oh, okay. So you're I don't know what's the word for
Buddhism is
this?
a philosophy. It's a
Correct.
spiritual philosophy.
Correct.
Yeah, religion includes God. Buddhism doesn't include God. You couldn't say, for instance, I'm an atheist Muslim. I wouldn't accept that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't see how.
Oh, I am by definition Muslim though.
I mean, are you though?
Yeah, I would think
I know,
so.
I know. You think you are, and that's fair enough. I have difficulty telling that you're a Muslim.
Hmm. So like, I pray the 5 daily prayers.
Yeah, you ritualize like a Muslim,
Yes.
but you don't agree with most Muslims.
I want to say I do agree with most Muslims, but that's only I disagree with them only because of their language and how they.
Yeah, but they would disagree with you, Vivi.
But the thing is, like, I'm fundamentally more correct than them because I'm using
I
the
know.
language more accurately.
I know, but that's kind of what I'm saying. Is I'm saying because most Muslims would disagree with you for that reason, do you really count as a Muslim?
Well, if most people do something and they are of that certain affiliation, I don't think that makes them a representative of that affiliation.
No, I agree with you, but I'm saying like the reason that the other people are taking it the way they are is because that's like a common interpretation of the Muslim faith.
Yeah, which is
So like
which.
your interpretation is specialized, but I'm saying like everybody else who calls themselves Muslim would probably find your interpretation to be basically bordering on not being a Muslim anymore.
Correct.
Yeah, so
as
it's
demonstrated.
yeah, like it
But
seems strange for you to call yourself a Muslim. Like I understand why you do, it just seems strange to me.
I think if one is a rationalist
Mm-hmm.
and that person also what do you call it values what do you call it values freedom.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is going to be controversial. If one person values freedom and they call themselves atheist and they rationalize that things work because of a system that's like a principle that like basically governs it,
Mm-hmm.
then I think it would be very rational to conclude that they would want to limit the number of things that they are subject to be that one principle.
Of course, but that principle isn't appropriately called God, and
Yes,
like and Muslim, being Muslim, is like specifically a set of beliefs about the universe that entail the word God for most Muslims.
yeah,
It's just difficult to see. Because you like it's like I said, like I don't understand the term atheistic Muslim because that would seem to be a contradiction in terms.
hmm. Because all right, so I think if I call myself a monist, it's okay, but if I call myself a monotheist, is problematic.
Yes, correct. You're a monist. You are definitely not a monotheist.
I just think I find it problematic that I'm very sure that the person like kind of made this all up. Uh, definitely wasn't thinking that there was some sort of uh person up there in the clouds.
Say that again. Sorry.
So like these people like that make up these religions and stuff definitely weren't thinking that there was some person that was like in the clouds. Like,
I mean, I'm not sure that you can say they definitely weren't thinking that, but you and I
well,
agree that they probably weren't thinking
well, they
that.
did like they didn't. They personified it definitely. I know that much. They personified it, but
Hmm.
I don't think they believe that's what was the case.
Yeah, I agree. They probably didn't, but let's say we don't think. Let's not say definitely.
Okay, yeah, okay, thank you. They most likely weren't thinking
Yes, I
about.
agree.
All right.
But I think the point is that like what a Muslim is today compared to what the original Muslim Muhammad was are different things, right?
Yeah.
And so like even if you would count as a Muslim according to Muhammad, most of the Muslims today don't agree.
Yeah. So I'd be
I,
what?
I don't know, a heretic probably.
In their eyes, yeah. Well, like I think I would be a fundamentalist then.
Fundamental monist, yeah. You're
I
not. The thing is, you're not. You're not a fundamentalist when it comes to your religion. You're a fundamentalist when it comes to your rationality.
perhaps I think I still do make a lot of fallacies logically.
Yeah, I mean sometimes. I don't know about a lot of, but definitely sometimes.
Hmm.
Man, I'm
Also,
tired.
like so you don't believe in a beginning, right?
That's correct.
And I don't either. And you, all right. So like this is how I'm thinking, right? If you draw two line segments that are parallel to each other, and one is like a derivative of the first,
Hmm.
that's how I kind of think of the principle that governs nature and the nature itself.
Okay. Yep.
Is that how you think about it?
Um. Look, I think that is an interesting metaphor, but I think the two lines aren't. They're not distinct.
They're not distinct,
Yeah.
but I think like one is the derivative of the other. That's what I'm thinking.
No, but conceptually that's true, but in reality they're not distinct. There's just the one line.
Just the one line.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like in our conceptual models, we separate the product of the principle from the principle itself, and there's a reason we do that. It helps us to make sense. But like in terms of like the way things actually are, the
Okay, so
product
like,
of the principle are the manifestation of that principle.
yes, but like that's wouldn't that be the same thing with like a function and its derivative because it's still the function, but like it's just a description of the function.
Um, no, but I'm saying that the derivative is not a distinct thing from the function in any sense. It's an element of the function.
Yes.
Yes, so it's not like there are two parallel lines. Not really. You know,
Oh yeah,
it's
yeah.
like we make an abstraction of the first line.
Ah, I see.
Yeah, and that's what we would call the product of the principle or the derivative of the function. It's the abstraction.
Oh, actually, you can have two parallel lines though. In one, it's a one special case. It's a special case.
What
If
do
you
you
have a
mean?
function being flat, so
No, I'm not saying you can't have that. I'm saying that the metaphor doesn't hold.
the metaphor holds in certain conditions.
No. You're talking about the metaphor being like coherent in and of itself. I'm saying the metaphor as in there being two objects
Ah,
doesn't hold because there's never two. And we conceptually represent it as two, but it's not.
I agree with you. It's not separate.
Yeah, so there is no second derivative line, which is like, the product of the principle. It's actually just that the one line is the principle and its product at the same time.
And we are just part of that.
Yeah.
Actually, I think that there must be a way to differentiate. I think line would be
Yeah, there is a way to differentiate them conceptually, but in reality, they're not differentiated.
it's all part of one. I agree with that. But the thing is, like, I do recognize that there must be some sort of differentiation. I guess what I'm having a problem with is having it being a line rather than some sort of weird that like more than three-dimensional object.
Okay, but what I'm saying is simple. I'm saying that um, the differentiation you can make is not more than cognitive.
Is not more than cognitive.
Yeah. So, like when you say there's a second parallel line, that
Yes.
is a cognitive abstraction. It helps you to understand, but it's not true in anything. You know what I mean? Like the
Yes.
metaphor is useful, but the metaphor doesn't hold when it comes to actually the way things are, because actually there's only one thing, and is no derivative that's separate, because
Yeah,
the
that's true.
derivative is just the same thing again.
Yes. It's interesting because I'm thinking about, like, that's kind of speaks to my theory.
Mm-hmm.
Everything
Have you come
being
up with your equations yet?
no.
Why
I
not,
actually didn't have
Vivi?
time. I actually didn't have time. Had exams and all.
Uh-huh.
Yes, but the way my theory would be set would be something along the lines of, there's like a small change in the direction. All right, so like we'd have to start with like the fundamentals. There's something and it's moving, and like moving as in the sense that it's changing. Like we recognize that there's change
Mm-hmm.
in our perception, and so we would have to find a way to represent that mathematically, and I do that by saying d, and what's change? Change in what? Change in I don't know. So like whatever we call that that everything, that's what we're gonna represent that change as,
Mm-hmm.
and let's call it x or dx, and then there's direction. I think we do have some sort of direction. Processes work in one direction according to our perception.
Mm-hmm.
So we add that vector, so it'll be dx vector x, and then we would state like initial conditions for that. What we need ways for different vectors to act with each other, but it'd be the same thing, but locally they're different. And then you just set up a system like that, and you keep going from there. Get a pure mathematical equation, and hopefully simulate a real world.
Yeah, well, I'm waiting on it, Vivi.
Okay, I'll try. I'll see what I can get.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, your idea has the hallmark of truth.
The what?
The hallmark of truth.
The hallmark. Ah.
Mm-hmm.
The principle is part. Well, you also kind of differentiate between the data and the process, right?
It's not a
Well,
process.
it's a principle.
It's the structure.
It's a structure. Gotcha. Oh well, actually, I think like a structure in and of itself wouldn't be incomplete. Like the information and the structure, the
Wouldn't
structure to
what?
wouldn't be complete, because if you had a structure and then to hold the information, right? To hold the data. Sorry about that. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Are you saying the structure itself has a functional component?
No, I'm saying the structure doesn't hold the data. It's the structure of the data.
Okay. And the data has the information had like the
No.
oh,
Data is the isness.
isness. Got it. I get
Yeah,
it is something is, and there is
no, it is full stop.
it is something is. That's for data, right?
Yeah,
And
the
then
data
this
is the fact that there is something, yeah.
yes, which I completely agree with. And then the structure is what?
The structure is consistent relativity.
Consistent relativity. Got it. So there's
So things
consistency.
exist relative to one another, and the way that they're relative to one another is that they're consistent.
Got it. That's actually fair. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So that's like two in one. The consistent
Mm-hmm.
aspect and the relative aspect.
Non-contingent. Yep.
Non-contingent, you said?
Non-contingent is the data element.
I see.
Yeah. So it's like essence and form. The form of existence is like consistent relational structure. The essence is like non-contingent information.
Okay, so the second one is the contingency. The first one is not. There's a contingent part and a non-contingent part.
No, both of them are non-contingent, but one of the elements denotes the non-contingency of the whole.
Ah, I see.
So the non-contingency has consistent relational structure, and the consistent relational structure of the non-contingency is non-contingent.
I see.
They're interdependent, but they're slightly different.
So when I refer to the principle that governs everything, I'm referring to the structure.
Well, no, you're referring to the whole, which is the fact that there are things and the structure of the things that are.
I see.
They're the same thing, right? It's just that we can break it up conceptually.
Yes.
But when you're referring to the principle that governs everything, you're referring to data logic, as far as I can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Of which, if you wanted to refer very specifically to the principle, would be relativity. You'd say
I think what I'm actually trying to say is the principle that governs how data forms.
But data doesn't form.
How the data is differentiated.
Yeah, that would be relativity.
All right, got it. And what was the other one? There's relativity and there's consistency.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, definitely. I'm definitely referring to structure because I'm also referring to consistency. Why things are consistent.
Yeah, so that's why I use the word logic, because it combines the two elements of consistency and relativity. It says the relationships are consistent.
Yeah.
That's the objective structure, is that the relationships that exist are consistent with one another.
I see. And data just is.
Yeah, data has to exist, correct.
I do understand why if we question that causes problems.
Mm-hmm.
But that's exactly what a religious person would use and run with that.
No, but it's clever, right?
Yeah. It is very.
It's a bit better than the religious version, in my opinion.
I agree to an extent, yes. But the religious version is that that itself has been created.
Yeah, but my version is that it doesn't need creation because it's always there.
Yeah.
Which is technically superior.
I've actually been debating with my brother on that one. It's pretty hard to get around.
Dude, you need to get your brother in here. I would love to debate him.
Because we were talking about, I was talking about how things don't have to be created; they could have just always been, right?
Tell him about me, man. See if he wants to debate me.
Sure, I definitely will. He might. Yeah, I think he'll probably enjoy that.
Yeah, that would be awesome. Hey, so guess what?
Yes.
I got a new job, boy.
Oh, congratulations! Is it Walmart?
Nah, it's Hungry Jack's.
Nice, man.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. Thanks.
It's good to know, man. I might have to pick up a job here because the semester ended and that's it. My tutoring job has stopped for this the rest of this month.
Dude, fuck that.
Yeah, the plan was that I was gonna be in Saudi Arabia, but it's not. Doesn't seem like. Seems like that's coming to a halt at the moment.
Fair call. Brutalized, my dude.
Yep.
Well, maybe you can use the time to come up with your equations and actually have some recorded discussions with me that we can put on YouTube, you little fuck.
I mean, isn't this one? Isn't this?
Yeah, it is, and I'm
Alright.
happy about that. But still, we need more.
Sure. What else are we gonna debate? The gays stuff.
I think we should give that a shot. We should also I'd love to actually walk you through my idea more comprehensively, because mostly it's just that you don't disagree with the things that I say because they seem intuitively plausible to you. You know what I mean? But
Yes.
You don't really have a good firm understanding of why I think all the things I do. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, I get the data part. That's something
you get some of it. You definitely get some of it, but you don't understand how I put it all together. You know?
Yeah, I think all right, so I think I get relativity as well, but I actually don't have a rational way to conclude that. I firmly believe in relativity, and I firmly believe also in consistency. But consistency. Like those are two things that I think are axioms actually. Like I think they're presuppositions.
Yeah, well, I mean, in my opinion, they count as the same axiom, but yeah.
Or relativity and consistency.
Yep.
They describe two different aspects. I would assume. Like something is relative.
No, I don't
It's
think so. I think things being relative to one another suggests that they are consistent existentially, doesn't it?
I think in order for something to be relative, it has to be consistent or set, right? And then the other thing is different in comparison
No,
to
no,
that
no, no,
one.
not consistent as in continuous over time. Right, for something to be relative to something else, the things have to be consistent with one another.
I think I got that.
Yeah, so
If
like,
something is like relatively big to another thing, we're talking about size. That
yeah,
is
we're talking about two things that exist in the same space that we're comparing.
yes. So that means
This is
consistency.
something, yeah, this is something that Chris Langan said. In his idea, he called it syndiphionosis, and that's the idea that in order to compare two things, to say that they are different, they have to be the same in some way. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to compare them.
That's interesting. I was just arguing that yesterday with my brother. Like, that's literally what I came like arguing with my brother. Like, he asked me to try to prove God to him, and
That's an
obviously
interesting thing for him to ask.
yes, and so I went about it, and I was talking about the definition first of all of God, right? And so I went about the first day. I kind of went the same way you went about this. I was like, first there's stuff, right? There's stuff that we're observing, and that stuff definitely exists. So like that's the data aspect of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I went about saying that we can make relationships between things, and if there's a relationship between things, there like if there's a correlation, like there is a medium through which we make that correlation, like either a variable or a constant. And I told, since we are able to make a correlation between like any two things, there must be a relationship between any two things, and I call that like a universal constant C. And then so that would be the structure I'm talking about there. And I was saying that the universal constant C. Somehow I went about it. I forgot how I did this, but I came to the conclusion that C governs everything. Because like it relates everything, it must also govern everything. I think, and if I said that by looking up the definition of govern, and I looked up the definition of correlation, and I think that the correlation, what I came from correlation is there's a hidden variable or something that like that may or may not be apparent that causes it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so and I wasn't able to explain, like he ascribes some sort of like soulhood to that thing, and I don't agree with that, and that's probably also why I couldn't prove that to him.
Did you say he ascribes soulhood to it?
I think so.
Interesting. Yeah, I would love to. I would love to have a conversation with him, dude.
Yeah, I guess I want to hear that. Definitely want to hear that.
Get him in here. What are you doing?
Sure, he's actually sleeping at the moment.
That's okay. I just meant in general.
Yep. What? Wait, do you know who he is?
I think you showed me his name once.
Oh, okay.
What I want to do, what I would love to do, is I would love to send you like a list of things that we might be able to argue about, and then have us like settle on a few that we could have like proper debates about. Because like it doesn't really matter what you think of your ability to debate. You're actually quite good, and I think that we set a good example for other people when we record ourselves.
I'm honored. I actually don't think I'm that good.
I know you don't, but I also think that that's a weird flex for you where you're trying to be humble. It's a humble
What?
brag.
No, that's not. I'm not.
It is a humble brag. I can hear the smile in your voice, Vivi.
I smile when like
When you're embarrassed about how much you're being called out.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, but like I'm being called out about being a good debater. I don't think I'm a good debater.
No. You're being called out about the humble brag.
I don't think I'm humble. I mean, like some people say
Uh-huh.
that, but I don't think like
No. I know you don't. You quote unquote don't think you're humble, but that is a way that you have developed to feel good about yourself. Admitting that you don't think you are humble
No, but
is
like
your
it's
way of
true.
being humble.
But it's true though.
No, I
Like
know, but it's also a way that you're trying to be humble.
no, all right. So look,
It
so
is though.
however I look at it, right?
Uh-huh.
If I'm trying to feel humble about myself, that actually isn't humble.
No, I know, but I'm not saying that you're trying to feel humble. I'm saying you're trying to be humble because you know that being humble is good.
Is it?
Yes?
Mm,
It's respectable. I know that you respect other people who are humble.
I do definitely respect other people that are humble.
So then does it seem like unlikely that you might try to emulate that humble behavior?
I strive to achieve to become humble. Yes.
Yes, there we go.
But I
So then,
but I
so
personally am
then,
not.
no, but I know, but I'm saying you saying that you're not is a way of you trying to be.
Is there some way you can like prove that?
I mean, it seems logical though.
um
So
it's a
like when
possibility. It's a
when
possibility.
let's think about it, right? You respect other people who are humble,
Yes?
and do you recognize that calling yourself humble is a sign that you are not?
Yes, I recognize that.
Yes. So when I say you're humble, for you to say I'm not humble is an imperative if you want to be.
Aha. Yes.
Hmm. Yes, so that's what I'm saying is that the reason that you say it is because you're trying to be humble.
I'm trying to become more humble. Yes.
Yes, and that's why you say that you're not humble.
I know I say I'm not humble because it's a not true statement.
No, I know, but also it's because of the other thing that I said.
So it's like for multiple reasons.
Yeah,
All right, fair enough.
although I do think it's slightly more that you're trying to be humble than because it's true. Because I would say that you're probably like you recognize that you genuinely are not that humble sometimes.
Yes.
Yes. So although you are like although it's true that you don't think you're humble, right? It's more in my opinion that you're trying to be humble because you're recognizing things that are true about yourself and you're trying to like remember those things even if they contradict you what you'd
No.
like to think of yourself.
Okay, but like honestly, the first statement was that I'm a good debater, but I don't think that's true either.
I mean, that's not up to you though. It's like when someone calls you an asshole. You
Yeah.
can't just say, "Well, I'm not an asshole." It's not up to you.
Well, by definition, I'm not.
No. But like, if you're like treating other people poorly, it's
Yes.
not up to you whether or not you're doing that, right? It's up to the other people.
Ah, I see. Yeah. Well, actually,
Yeah.
really, is it?
Yeah, it is. It is. If other people tell you that they think you're treating them poorly, you going, "Well, I'm not treating you poorly," doesn't mean anything because if they think you are,
They're
you're
better
probably
judges.
doing something. Yeah.
They're probably better to judge
Exactly.
that.
And if they're saying to you that you're doing the thing, you saying no I'm not doesn't fix anything. You know what I
Oh, so
mean?
like if they say, for example, I'm making them angry, right? Yeah, then
Hmm.
I have no agency in saying no, you're not, because they would know better than me.
Exactly. But and the thing that they're saying is an extension of that. They're saying you're being a jerk means I feel like you're being rude to me or whatever. And so it's like, well, it doesn't matter what you think about it, you know what I mean? If I feel that way, I feel that way.
Correct.
Yeah, and it's similar to that. I feel that you are good at debating, and it doesn't actually matter what you feel because it's not up to you.
Hmm. Well, we know like debating has many aspects to it. Some of them of
Yes.
which I'm really good at. Some of which I'm
Of
not.
course. Yeah.
So like,
Which
and
ones are you bad at?
I'm not good at. I'm bad at. For example,
This will
persuasion.
be good.
I'm really bad. I'm really bad at persuasion.
I don't agree.
Really.
Yeah, you make good arguments. That's
I make good
persuasive.
argument. No, it doesn't make it being persuasive. It doesn't just like It's not just about making a good argument. It's also about bringing
I
the.
know, because I'm very persuasive. But I'm telling you that as someone who is persuasive, I find you to be persuasive when you're making a good argument.
Fair enough, because I do appeal. I appeal to your understanding, but I might not appeal to others. Your
Yeah,
does it
but
make sense?
being persuasive doesn't mean being persuasive to everybody. It means appealing to the rational capacity of the person you're talking to.
Yeah, I agree with that. I guess I think what I'm bad at is being confident. Well, I don't think. Well, I'm confident in some matters, but like I think that's the thing I'm trying to get at. I tend to be easily swayed.
Ah, so you're easily convinced yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, that doesn't mean that you're not persuasive. It means you're easily persuaded. They're not the same.
No, but like that's the thing. So if I can't, if it comes to be that my opponent persuades me, right, then I
Hmm.
won't be able to persuade them.
That's not necessarily true.
Yeah, that's true as well. But like what you said is true. But it makes me harder to. It makes me in a position.
No.
Yeah,
It makes it harder for you to persuade them of the original or main point, but you can still persuade them about many other things.
correct.
So it doesn't actually make you less persuasive. It just means that you weren't right, and it's very hard to be persuasive when you're not correct.
This was like a prime example of that right now.
Yeah.
So I concede. Persuasion wasn't the right word. Um,
Mhm.
but as I have demonstrated, I'm not a good like right now.
I don't think that this is demonstrating that you're not good at persuasion, Vivi.
That I think like that what you just stated is a good example of what I'm trying to state.
No, but I don't think that what I just stated indicates the conclusion you think it does.
But it makes that's evidence that I'm not good at. It's evidence. It's not doesn't necessarily make us conclude that I'm bad at persuasion. But the thing is, it's evidence that shows or
No, it's
demonstrates.
not. It's evidence that you were wrong. It's not evidence that you were bad at persuasion. Like,
Evidence.
like I said, if you're wrong, you cannot be persuasive
Really,
because
I
you're
don't think
wrong.
that's.
No, I
I
mean
don't
you
think,
can, but it's a lot harder.
yes.
So, like, if you're talking to someone who is also quite persuasive and they're correct, then if you're wrong, then you cannot persuade them. Isn't that right?
Yeah, it'll be much harder for you to try to
No.
attempt to
But
persuade.
if they are also persuasive and they are correct, then it won't just be harder. It'll be basically impossible.
Yes, basically, unless like one of them are tricked or deceived.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's sort of what I'm saying. I'm saying that the thing that you're calling evidence isn't evidence that you're bad at persuasion. It's evidence that you were wrong about something, and that doesn't make you a bad debater.
Um. Sure. Fair. I'll agree to that too.
Getting shit
But
on, Vivi.
no. It still doesn't. It still doesn't prove I'm a good debater either, does it?
I don't. It doesn't need to prove it. That's my opinion.
But it's a positive claim.
Yes, I'm saying that's my experience.
Um.
Like, when I'm talking to you, I feel like you are cooperative with the things that I'm saying in a way that allows us to progress towards a conclusion productively.
I'll agree to that. I believe I'm a very cooperative person.
Yeah, but not only are you cooperative, but you're looking for logical errors, and you will say something if you find one, right?
I will try. Yes.
Yeah, you're a good debate mate. That's what I'm saying. Is like you're good at being a partner in a discussion because of those qualities.
I agree with that.
Yeah, that's what being a good debater is.
No, I think it's more to being a debater than that.
No, I don't actually think so. I think that you're attaching social connotations to the word.
Hmm. Isn't it like debate about presenting like each other's isn't it about like presenting each other's arguments and attempting to persuade the opponent?
No, not really. I don't think so. Definitely that's part of it. But I think that that's mostly like a formal debate, and we are not having a formal debate. We're having like what is mostly informal debate. Most of the time, when I'm engaged in a debate with you or someone else, I'm not trying to persuade you that you're wrong. I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to help both of us to figure out what the truth is. And on the occasion that I happen to already know, I'm not trying to persuade you to think as I do. I'm trying to show you how you already think what I do. You just don't know it.
I see. So I agree. I could possibly be a good debater.
Oof.
It's I think the most amount of consent you're gonna get from me in that question. That.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna work on it. That's gonna be one of the topics that we have a debate about.
Whether or not I'm a good debater?
Yeah.
What if I purposely?
I won't allow you to.
Why not? It's like that's all right.
It's cheating.
Oh, God, it's gonna be fundamentally flawed because it would depend on my how I want it to go.
Dun dun dun.
But hopefully, I'll just play along, and see where that goes. So in the past, we've discussed we discussed God, we've discussed homosexuality, and we've discussed we personally didn't discuss like the vegetarianism or anything, but we discussed so many other things, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we've discussed like probably like a dozen or more subjects apart from that. I just can't remember them.
Politics, we were talking about like the death penalty, I think a little bit.
That's true, yeah.
Um,
We've talked extensively about words and language.
Say that what again?
So we've talked extensively about words and language.
Oh yes, definitely.
What else? Memes. We talked about memes a lot.
Yep. We did a little bit. Yes. Oh yeah, we were talking about how it's imitation and stuff like that.
I have to jump off in a minute or two because my headset's gonna go flat.
No problem, man. I also have to get on top of some of stuff.
Okay.
Take care, man.
I'll catch you later, dude.
Thank you for listening. Like, share, subscribe, and join us in the Nameless Debates Discord. We hope to see you there.